In the world of Hogwarts, your house is actually pretty significant, and it's easy to tell which house someone is part of just by looking at the colours that they are wearing. And we have already done videos going over the Gryffindor, Slytherin and Hufflepuff houses within Hogwarts Legacy, doing a complete guide for all of those houses. And in today's video, we'll be finishing things off with the Ravenclaw house. We'll be doing a complete guide to the Ravenclaw house. This video will include the lore behind the house, the general history for how the house started, some of the significant events within the house. We'll also look at some of the significant house leaders, and we'll also look at Hogwarts Legacy specific information as well, since some of that previous information isn't really related to the Hogwarts Legacy game. Of course, well, it is related a bit, but it isn't to do with the actual game itself. That's more to do with the general Hogwarts world. But we'll also look at Hogwarts Legacy specific information about the Ravenclaw house and how it will affect the gameplay in the game if you were to go ahead and pick this house, compared to how the game would change if you were to go ahead and pick a different house. So this video will be a complete guide to the Ravenclaw house, covering everything you need to know. Let's get into it. Ravenclaw was one of the 4 houses of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Ravenclaw's founder was the medieval witch Rowena Ravenclaw. Members of this house were characterised by their wit, learning and wisdom. The emblematic animal symbol was an eagle, and blue and bronze were its colours. The head of Ravenclaw was Filius Flitwick, and the house ghost was the Grey Lady, real name Helena Ravenclaw, daughter of Rowena. Ravenclaw corresponded roughly to the element of air, and it was for that reason that the house colours were chosen. Blue and bronze represented the sky and eagle feathers respectively, both having much to do with air. The Ravenclaw point hourglass contains blue sapphires. The Ravenclaw house prized learning, wisdom, wit and intellect in its members. Thus, many Ravenclaws tended to be academically motivated and talented students. They also prided themselves on being original in their ideas and methods. It was not unusual to find Ravenclaw students practicing especially different types of magic that other houses might not even think of. Hermione Granger, an extremely intelligent witch and the top student in her year, was sorted into Gryffindor, though she admitted that the Sorting Hat had seriously considered placing her in Ravenclaw. Often hard-working and diligent, as often was the case with intellectuals with a predisposition for academics, some of the pupils sorted under the blue-bronzed eagle were known to be inclined to dismiss certain social expectations for the sake of satisfying their own intellectual curiosity. Some of these eventually also ended up being not only accepted but even celebrated in spite of being initially subjected to scorn for their various oddities. Luna Lovegood, for example, was one such student. Eccentric, to put it at its mildest, she was a Ravenclaw student who initially was bullied for her open defiance of conventionality, but ultimately became a celebrated wizarding naturalist and renowned for her participation in the legendary Battle of Hogwarts and past membership in Dumbledore's army. Another example would be Professor Filius Flitwick, a half-goblin who might have faced scorn for his short stature earlier in life, but went on to become a renowned dueling champion, and subsequently one of the finest and most knowledgeable charms masters in the entirety of the wizarding world during his employment at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. According to some of his students, he was actually the best. Ravenclaws tended to be curious about the world and paid attention to the world around them. Ravenclaws were known to be logical and rational. In addition, Ravenclaw students tended to have abilities regarding memory. Garrick Ollivander, for example, possessed an outstanding memory and can remember every wand he has sold. Even so, not all Ravenclaws were motivated by academic prowess. Some students would strive to be particularly good students, but not necessarily make a good witch or wizard, so questioning whether they are actually a good student or not. Minerva McGonagall was a hatstall, having approximately equal Ravenclaw and Gryffindor traits. The Sorting Hat finally sorted her into Gryffindor. Hermione Granger was also considered for Ravenclaw due to her intelligence, but the Hat ultimately decided on Gryffindor once again. Filius Flitwick was in the same situation at the time of his sorting, but in his case the Hat decided on Ravenclaw instead of Gryffindor. According to Slytherin prefect Gemma Farley, Ravenclaws were so competitive when it came to academic success that they were known to backstab each other and likely other students in order to get top marks, while Hufflepuff prefect Gabriel Truman noted that they were so proud of the success of famous members. Ravenclaw house also appeared to have little rivalry with the other houses, except in Quidditch. Harry Potter believed that they tended to side with Gryffindor in its rivalry with Slytherin, as did the Hufflepuff house. However, during the 1994 tournament, most Ravenclaw supported Hufflepuff champion Cedric Diggory over Harry. They believed that Harry had in fact cheated his way into being a champion, and that the true Hogwarts champion was Cedric. Many Ravenclaws joined Dumbledore's army and fought in the Battle of Hogwarts along with Gryffindors and Hufflepuffs. They rose at almost the exact moment as the Hufflepuffs and turned their wands upon Pansy Parkinson and Slytherin House in Harry Potter's defense when the former wished to hand Harry over to Lord Voldemort and his army of Death Eaters. Within the house though, they are well known for being welcoming and encouraging of creativity, eccentricity and individuality, and being very accepting in general. So there you go, that was a bit of history and just a general backstory behind the Ravenclaw house. Obviously that isn't really Hogwarts Legacy specific information about the game, it's general information about how the house has worked within Hogwarts, but obviously it's not really focused on the game, although most of that will still apply to the game. However, it is worth noting that the games are in different time periods. The actual Hogwarts Legacy game is set in the 1800s, whilst the Harry Potter series, the books and the films, of course, are set in the 1900s, so there's a pretty different big time era there. Obviously, Hogwarts Legacy is set before the events of Harry Potter, meaning that some stuff you see in Harry Potter won't have happened within Hogwarts Legacy. So, you know, some of that information might be slightly different, but generally speaking, that's information about the house itself. Obviously, yeah, not Hogwarts Legacy specific information, but now we're actually going to focus on the Hogwarts Legacy specific information and how the Ravenclaw house does work within the game and how it will affect the overall gameplay if you do go ahead and choose the Ravenclaw house. In Hogwarts Legacy, the Ravenclaw common room is in the Ravenclaw Tower, one of the 3 tallest towers in Hogwarts. Ravenclaws get a fantastic view of the Great Lake, the Forbidden Forest and the Quidditch pitch, and the herbology greenhouses. The Ravenclaw common room is described as the room with the most space out of all of the common rooms in the game. It is a wide circular room with a fireplace in the middle and arched windows all over the walls, giving it that spacious and well lit atmosphere. Now there are of course thousands of students at Hogwarts. One of the easiest ways of knowing the house they belong to is by checking what colours they are sporting, as each house does have a different set of colours of course, and if you do join Ravenclaw you can use bronze and blue garments such as robes and scarves as part of your Ravenclaw uniform. It has actually been confirmed that some students will serve as a companion for players. It is unclear if you will only have access to the companion that goes to the same house as you, but if that were the case, joining Ravenclaw will secure you a fellow housemate as a companion. It is important to clarify that while there are confirmed companions for all the other houses, Ravenclaw is the only house we haven't seen companion footage of. However, if all the other Hogwarts houses are getting a student companion, then Ravenclaw will obviously get one too. But for the time being, it is unclear if that will be the case, and it is also unclear if there are any more exclusive perks for joining the Ravenclaw house. There's a good chance there will be some exclusive sort of, you know, maybe some exclusive dialogue or something like that, but generally speaking, those are all of the exclusive perks we know about for the Ravenclaw house at the moment. So there you go, that's everything we have about Ravenclaw specific information for the game itself, and of course we had all of the actual Ravenclaw house information that we went over earlier. But there we have it, that was a complete guide to the Ravenclaw house in Hogwarts Legacy. Maybe that will make you want to join the house, or maybe it will steer you away from the house. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, I have actually done a video going over the 4 houses in Hogwarts Legacy and the one that you must join in the game, and if you're interested in watching that, then a link to that video is on the screen now, so go ahead and join me over there.